Welcome to my channel. My name is Tolu. I'm a Christian dating coach and I specialize in showing you how to go from single to married in a year. So if you want to work with me one-on-one and you're a single 30 plus Christian woman that's ready to get into the right relationship leading to marriage, just click the link in my tab, or if you're watching this live, click the displayed link and send your application in. If you're the right fit, we'll hop on a call and I'll give you the right plan for you to go from single to married in a year. Okay, so I want to talk about why you haven't dated in over a year. And if this is you, just drop it in the comments. If you've not been in a relationship in over a year, if you're watching this live and you have any questions, drop your questions in the question box. There are a couple of reasons this is happening, okay? Now, the truth is, for you to get married, you need to date. For you to meet your husband, you need to be meeting men. For you to get in a relationship, you need to be talking to a man for a consistent period of time. So if you're not dating, you're not going to get married. That's the reason I broke this down. It's important for you to start the dating process so that you can actually get into the marriage that God has for you. It's kind of like if you want to go somewhere, you're going to have to leave your house. You're either going to have to go by foot, drive, get, some form of transportation to be able to get to your destination. You can't just sit and wait for the destination to come to you. So if that's what you're doing, that's why you're not married. That's why you're not in a relationship. That's why you're not meeting men, because you're not doing anything. Okay? Faith without deeds is dead. James 2:26. So don't say, I'm just waiting for God to deliver my husband, when you are not partnering with God in the process. Amos 3:3, can two walk together if they are not in agreement? It's not possible. Your faith is required to participate in your dating to produce the result of marriage. So if you've not dated in a year, I want you to ask yourself why. Okay, what exactly are your reasons that you haven't been in a relationship or you've not gone on any dates in a year? Is it because you've not prioritized dating? And even if you are not prioritizing dating, you can still make dating a part of your routine. And this is how, in fact, one of my clients, that's how she met her husband. I just helped her to adapt her routine because she works crazy hours. She's always busy with one deliverable or the other. So I just helped her to optimize her routine to make sure that she naturally would meet the right men within her day-to-day activity. And that's how she met her husband, and that's why she's getting married now. That's how she got engaged, and now they're getting married. So your routine isn't an excuse. Dating doesn't even have to be a priority for you to get into the right relationship that will lead you to marriage. Dating just has to become a part of your routine. So ask yourself, why isn't dating a part of my routine? Because if you haven't dated in over a year, I'm confident that it is not part of your routine. Is it that you don't have any social outlets? Do you need to work on social outlets that are online or in person? Do you need to work on social outlets that are comfortable for you, that are convenient for you? Because if you create that opportunity, you will naturally meet people. Just like the way you met your friends, the way you met your colleagues, it was through work, it was through social activities, it was through church. That's also how you're going to meet men. And thinking about it, if you're finding it difficult to meet people, you're also going to find it difficult to meet men. So if I ask you, when's the last time you met someone new? Or when's the last time you had a spontaneous conversation and you can't tell me when? That means you're socially closed off. So in other words, it's difficult for people to interact with you. So I'm not sure how you expect a man to come into the picture. And you can meet men anywhere. The other day, I was out with my friend and I introduced her to a gentleman that she's very excited to be getting to know right now. And I did that to show her, because this particular friend of mine is also socially conscious. I did it for her to show her how simple it is to just have a conversation with a guy. It's very important that you are socially open so that you are in a space where you can create opportunities to meet men naturally, and it becomes a part of your routine. You never want to be in a situation where you find a guy interesting or you're attracted to him and you don't know what to do, right? You want to create opportunity for that man to approach you, for you guys to have a conversation, for you to at least indicate to him that you are interested. And that's part of the work I help my clients do. Like with this particular friend, for example, lucky for her, she had me as a friend, so I helped her out. And that's how she met this gentleman that she's gone on dates with and she's really excited about. But you need to be your own advocate. You need to be your own agent when you are outside or online, whichever or both. So what I help my clients to do is to create that social comfort so that they're able to have conversations with men casually. They're able to create opportunity for men to approach. It's how I've helped my clients that haven't been on dates in years get married in 12 months. It's how I help my clients that don't know how to talk to men, learn how to flirt and get asked on dates, and men show up for them and provide for them in ways that they've never experienced before. It's by creating social comfort. It's important that you're able to do this for you to be able to start going on dates. Because if you're not going on dates, you're not going to get married. It's really that simple. So ask yourself, what are your social outlets and how are you creating comfort in those social outlets that is making it simple for you to meet people and inevitably meet men. And this is part of the work I do with you when we work together one-on-one. I help you to work on how you are creating opportunities for men to come into your life and for you to naturally step into your husband's life, okay? Because that's how it's going to happen. It's not going to happen from you sitting down, being frustrated, doing the same things, not going anywhere. It's just not going to happen. You need to create opportunity for that experience to step into your life. Just like any experience, really, you needed to take your fitness seriously for you to have the experience of being fit. You needed to take your exam seriously for you to have the experience of being licensed in your field, and so on and so forth. You want to have the experience of marriage, you need to create the opportunities to start meeting men to go on dates with, right? Another reason you haven't dated in over a year is you don't know how to connect with men. Now, when I talk about connection, I mean creating genuine chemistry with men. This is a skill that you should naturally be able to do by being feminine, flirtatious, and friendly, and being able to have flexible conversations with men. And part of the work I do with my clients is helping them to find their own feminine identity. So what I like to say is every woman's expression of femininity looks different. Think about two women that you consider to be very feminine. I like using the example of Michelle Obama, as opposed to maybe an Oprah, as opposed to maybe a celebrity like Beyonce or whoever else. They're both feminine, but they express it in different ways that resonates with their individual identities. So you want to create the experience of being feminine that makes it easy for men to naturally respond to your persona. So you want to create an experience of femininity that makes it easy for men to be drawn to you, to open up to you, to want to talk to you. And that is a quiet confidence that cannot be manufactured. It's not counterfeit. And what I've discovered through this work of coaching clients and working in the field of dating for Christian women is a lot of Christian women do not know what that quiet confidence looks like when they are conversing with men. Unfortunately, in the church, it has been taught that your husband will he will just appear, or, he will, I don't even know. He will come up to you, he will do everything. It doesn't work like that, as you all have experienced. If you're here listening to this, it doesn't work like that. You need to create opportunity to connect for your husband to actually see you as a wife. And examples in scripture that come off the top of my head is Ruth. Ruth needed to create a connection with Boaz for him to be able to come into the picture and see her as a potential wife. Same way you need to create a connection for you to be seen as a wife for your husband. Okay, so when I talk about connection, I'm talking about asking the right questions, knowing what the right man for you looks like, having the right conversations. Because if you're not doing these things, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to date confidently. A lot of you are tired of dating because you don't know how to connect with men without being worn out. You're worn out from the dating process. So as a result, you don't have any energy to connect with men, to flirt, to be feminine. You're constantly questioning your steps. You're constantly being drained by the wrong men. You're having the wrong conversations. Men are only talking to you about sex. And part of the reason this is happening is that's all they see when they see you. Or men are constantly asking you the wrong questions, like, when can you come to my house? When can we be intimate, and so on and so forth. Instead of the right questions around, Who are you as a person? What do you like? What are you looking forward to? How can I show up in your life, and so on and so forth? And that's what you want to be happening, but it only happens when you connect with men the right way. So part of the work I do in my program when I work with my clients one-on-one is showing them how to build natural connections with men, so that men are asking to take them out on dates. Men are asking how they can show up in pursuit of my clients to be able to show that they are genuinely interested in a long-term relationship. Okay, so you need to work on your connection so that dating becomes fun for you and it becomes flexible. And then another thing is you probably have commitment issues. So when I say commitment issues, I mean you're reacting to your past experiences in relationships. So maybe you were in a relationship that you gave your everything to, or it could have been a marriage. It could have even been years ago. But the problem is you are still working as if you are still operating as if you are in that relationship or in that marriage. So it's difficult for you to open up and connect with men genuinely. It's difficult for you to be able to actually have social comfort in the way you interact with men, flirt, and you're friendly. You're constantly doubting a man's intentions. You never believe what they say. That speaks to you having commitment issues, especially if you have a past experience of being cheated on, taken advantage of in any way. And the problem with that is you can't get married with that mindset. It's not going to work. Because first of all, you're not emotionally available. Okay, so you will tend to attract emotionally unavailable men as well. Like I always say, emotionally unavailable men are different from emotionally unavailable women. An emotionally unavailable woman presents, in other words, she puts herself out in the world as being someone that is closed off. You have limited contact with men. You struggle to trust a man's intentions. You're constantly doubting yourself. An emotionally unavailable man presents, in other words, he shows up as somebody that easily takes advantage of you, is manipulative, gaslights, doesn't want to commit, is not interested in investing in you intentionally. You're going to attract that kind of man into your life if you are emotionally unavailable as a woman. So it's important for you to work on your issues. And what I always say is, it's not something that requires you to take a step away from dating. If anything, dating exposes it. So whether you date today or you date in the next 5 years, it's still going to come up. So it's best you start dating now, so that you can address those issues, which is why when I work with my clients one-on-one, the first thing I do is look at their dating timeline and history. Just basically do a general audit to be able to see what are the patterns that have led you to this point where you're struggling to get into a healthy, committed relationship that would inevitably lead to marriage. And whenever there's a commitment, some form of commitment in the past that went wrong, it shows up. So it's important that you attend to that to be able to actually date in a way that attracts your husband. Now, another thing, and let me know if this is helpful, tap the heart. If you have any questions for me, drop it in the question box. But this is part of the work. This is how I'm able to create opportunity for my clients to connect with the right men and to be able to get into the right relationships that lead to marriage, simply by adjusting the way they date and by adjusting the way they present. In other words, the way men perceive them, so that men pursue them differently. By going through all these issues, like creating social comfort, showing you how to meet men within your routine, helping you set up the way you date online, making sure you're having the right conversations with men, helping you understand how men think so that you can connect with men in a genuine way that is true to who you are, and your femininity can express itself confidently, and you naturally speak to a man's masculine desire to provide, protect, and pursue. Working through your commitment issues to make sure that you are not confusing the present man that is in front of you with an ex that's cheated on you in the past, gaslit you, took advantage of you, because sometimes you guys tend to do that. So it's important to be able to make that clear distinction so that you're actually dating in a healthy way and you're not attracting uninterested, unhealthy men into your life. Another issue I see, why you've not dated in over a year, is you're dating without results and you're getting frustrated. Dating isn't the problem there. The problem there is how you are dating, okay? So it's either you're dating the wrong men. In other words, you're dating the wrong person. You are not dating in the right place. In other words, you are not dating you're not meeting men in the right place. Mind you can meet men anywhere, but for you, maybe you're not meeting men in places that for instance, if you meet men at a, I don't know, tech conference, and you are not interested in tech, you have no interest in anything in the tech industry, that's not the right place for you to meet men, because you have nothing in common with that field and you have no interest in it, right? But it will play out very well for a woman that is interested in tech, innovation, and that kind of stuff. Or you're paying attention to the wrong patterns. You tend to date with potential, so you're not paying attention to the right things. You're not looking at the right patterns when you're dating. That's why you're not getting results. So it's important that you're dating the right men, you're dating from the right place, and you're dating with the right patterns for you to actually be able to date successfully and get into a healthy relationship. So if you've discovered that you're dating without results, probably means you're dating the wrong way. Okay, so it's either you're dating the wrong man or you're dating in the wrong place. And online, how this will look like is your profile is a mess. You're not presenting yourself properly online. Organically, it may not even be the place, it's just the way you look when you go to those places, or the kind of conversations you have, or how people generally perceive you. That could be the problem. Or you're not looking at the right patterns. In other words, maybe you're rushing too quickly, or you're taking too much time, or you're not listening to your instincts. It could be any number of things, which is why when I'm working with my clients, I like to do an audit. For example, one client of mine, she was never able to get in a healthy relationship. She was always in situationships. And I realized one of her patterns when we started working together was she was involving her family members way too much. Now, that might work for another client, because my programs are person specific, but for her, it was problematic. She was involving her family members too early, so I helped her to remove her family members from the process, and within a year she got married. That was the problem. That's why her dating was not producing results, because by involving her family members in her particular case, she was naturally creating resistance and naturally creating problems before she actually even got to know the guy. And I was only able to see that after working with her through her history and auditing her process to understand why she wasn't getting results. So what I'm getting at is it looks different for different women. That may be something that works in favor of another client, because every client situation is different, because everyone is called to a different kind of marriage. But it wasn't working for her, and it was a hindrance. And once we cleared that up, she was married within a year, literally. So it's important for you to know why your dating isn't producing results. The solution is not to take a break. That doesn't solve anything, okay? Because it's like saying your room is messy. Let me just move to another room for another 5 months and my room will magically clean itself. No, it won't. You need to clean the room for the room to be clean. So in other words, you need to identify the problem and the source for it to go away, right? Another reason why you haven't dated in over a year is probably you have the wrong focus, okay? So this basically means you have a quality and a quantity problem. You're probably too focused on quantity in the wrong places. So maybe you're focusing instead on the quantity of men you're meeting as opposed to the quality of men that you're entertaining. Or you're focused on quantity in terms of the number of dates you're going on instead of the quality of the dates that you are actually experiencing. It could be any number of things. But usually if you don't have a good balance between quality and quantity, you're going to have the wrong focus in dating. Like I just gave 2 examples. If you're focused on the number of dates as opposed to the quality of dates, that's going to produce an unhealthy relationship. Because at the end of the day, a relationship requires substance, not numbers. It requires substance. Or you're focused on wrong timing. Okay, so your timing is off. So maybe you're jumping into relationships too quickly or too late. That's just a general example. Or timing based on you're looking at the age of a man to determine how serious and ready he is for marriage, which by the way is no indication. You can meet 50-year-old men that still act like they're 15, right? So age is not an indication of readiness for marriage, but that was just an example. Or your approach is completely wrong. Maybe you're focused on only men that are in your church. That's a general example, but it's a case in point. Or only men that work in a particular industry. Again, wrong approach. So quality and quantity need to work together to be able to help you get into the right relationship that will produce a healthy marriage. And these are things that you discover as you date. Now, if you've not dated in over a year, these are some of the things that could potentially be the reason for that. And as a result, you're not meeting enough men, or you're not meeting any men at all. You're not going on the right dates, and when you go on dates, it's with the wrong men. You're getting into relationships that don't last at all, or if they do last, they don't lead you to marriage. They end up taking your time, your energy, your resources, and leaving you drained, exhausted, and tired, and very much filled with regret, making it even harder for you to get into the right relationship. So these are some of the reasons why you haven't dated in over a year. If you have some other reasons to share, feel free to drop it in the comments. But this generally is what I've seen. And it's important that you break out of these reasons. That is, you create a social outlet for yourself so that you have social comfort and you can naturally start building conversations and connections with men and work through your commitment issues in that process. Because there's some issues you don't even know you have until you start talking to men. I see it with clients all the time. So if I'm working with a client and she hasn't been on a date in over a year, 2 years, and she starts talking to men that match what she wants, because you will start to see that when we work together, because I help you align your dating to make sure you are on the right track to meet the kind of man that matches who you are as a person and the kind of marriage you've been called to. It's going to freak you out. I've seen it again and again with different clients, because it's an experience that you've not had before. So usually in that space, I start seeing all sorts of trauma responses because of anxiety, fear of repeating past mistakes. So you can't address your commitment issues until you actually start creating opportunities to connect with men, which is why it's important that you start dating. And if you're dating without results, it just means you're doing something wrong. It's like if 2 + 2 = 4, but every time you calculate, you're getting 3, you're getting 1. It means your equation is wrong. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the results. You need to make sure that you balance out the equation correctly to get the 4 as the end result. So in other words, the equation you are using to date is just wrong. That's why you're not getting into the right relationship. So something needs to change. And part of the work I do with my clients is doing an audit on their dating process to make sure that we're constantly tweaking and adjusting to make sure that you are actually getting closer and closer and closer to meeting the right man for you. And this is why, when my clients meet their person, they get married within a year, because we've done that work to get to that point for you to meet the right man for you. And you can, it's just a seamless process. It's easy for you to, like, if 2 + 2 = 4, you're going to solve that equation faster than somebody that doesn't know that, basically. So when I work with my clients and I provide them with a dating plan to basically be able to know the right way for them to date, to get married, they just move faster through the dating process. It's just faster. Or you're just doing a lot of things that are wrong. Maybe you're focusing on the wrong things, you're focusing on the wrong time, you're applying the wrong approach. So that's why you haven't dated in over a year. So it's important for you to work on these steps. And if you want to work with me one-on-one on getting into a relationship leading to marriage within a 12-month timeline, just like I've helped my clients do, and you're a woman over 30 that's tired of being single, is not sure what's going on with her dating process, you're doing something wrong, but you're not particularly clear on what it is, then click the link in my bio and first tab to apply to work with me. Do we have any questions? So I have a question here. I was raised by a single parent and I get irritated when a guy is trying to know me. How can I open myself to be known? You need to figure out why you get irritated. That's the problem there. It's not the men. It's not about being known. It's about why are you getting irritated in the first place. You need to figure that out, because if you don't solve that, you're not going to stop getting irritated. So yeah, that's what you need to work on. I don't see any other questions here. But yeah, guys, this was fun. I'll talk to you all again soon. If you're ready to go from single to married in a year, just click the link in my bio and first tab to apply. And if you're the right fit, we'll hop on a call together and I'll show you how I'm going to help you get married in 12 months with my one-on-one coaching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.